Hey guys, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have the G&L L2000 Series E back on the bench. This is the fourth video in the series. We're going to actually be doing the setup on it. From the previous video you saw that we did some work on it. We got it strung up and we were really just checking to make sure that the electronics worked through an amplifier with it strung up. Action and neck relief, everything was out of whack because we've had this guitar completely torn apart. I took it and showed it to the customer today to let him see the progress with his own eyes, because videos don't always tell the story. He's impressed and so am I, so let's get to work. Let's see if I can get everything in the video. Bear with me. I think we're good. Electronics have been sussed out. We're still in progress here. This could actually rival the Epiphone video series because there was so much to do here. Now, we know we can shim the neck if we have to. It has the auto shim function on it. I have strung it and tuned it. I'm not crazy about the break angle on the A string, which, believe it or not, I have seen an issue with that on guitars that I've built for myself, where I actually sometimes will put a second string tree to hold the A string down farther, because the necks are pretty straight on these. So let's just start with, we'll get to that A string issue later if we have to. I want to check neck relief, which is capo at the first fret. You've seen this a million times. You hold it at the body joint, 12 thousandths. And then you check at the 7th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it seems tight. So I think I'm going to loosen that slightly. Yeah, it's definitely tight. So let's undo that and loosen it slightly. Right. I'm going to make sure I'm still in the movie. Left is loose, right is tight, so you know that rule. We're going to try to loosen it slightly. Now, I had tightened it up quite a bit because when I put the strings on it after it being in such a straight condition and I got everything tensioned, the neck wanted to go all the way down in a banana, which is normal when you have a guitar taken apart like we had this one taken apart. And remember, when you're adjusting truss rod, whether it's up here at the end like a bullet truss rod adjustment, or if it's down here, you do small increments. Again, fret capo at the first fret, body joint, we loosened it 1/4 of a turn. I like that. Just kissing the feeler gauge at 12 thousandths. So for a 42-year-old instrument, I put it together, put string tension on it, strings, not spring like a Stratocaster, and 1/4 of a turn. It was tight, and 1/4 of a turn to loosen that neck relief got me where I needed to be. So again, hats off to Leo Fender. The way he designed and built guitars, his mantra was that every instrument should be adjustable, easily adjustable in his vernacular. Let's check the string height. Since we know that our neck relief now is acceptable, this guitar is going to set for a while because we still have some other repairs to do on it. But right today, we are actually trying to set it up and make it playable. Let's just check our string action and see where we're at. This is going to be a Yahoo moment. Huh. Over 5/64. That one's low at 4. That one's low. That one's really high. That doesn't surprise me because I had this entire bridge off. So I know this one, the first one at the 12th fret, golly, it's almost acceptable, but I'm going to lower it slightly. I'm going to lower that one. I'm going to do these one string at a time because I had this all apart from the previous video. You remember I cleaned them, I washed the bridge, I've had this entire guitar apart. We want to make sure, of course, that the same rule applies, that our saddles are level to the body of the guitar. So if you drop it down a quarter of a turn, you drop that one down a quarter of a turn, and you sight down and make sure that you're level. Take your measurement. I'm going to say 5/64 looks good. This one's way low, so we know we're going to have to raise up the A string. Half a turn, half a turn, and I can see that it's level. Alright, where'd you go? Still needs to come up. That does not surprise me. Again, when you take something all the way apart and get it down to nothing, you're going to have to make some serious adjustments. It's riding right at 4. On any kind of Fender type bass, 5/64 all the way across from low E to G, because it's going to follow the radius of the neck. Still more. Gotta come up. This has got quite a radius on it. 5, 5. So the A string is now, man, I went a little too far. 1/8 of a turn. I want it right at 5/64. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, D string. D as in David. It's too low. And I guessed at the shim, the auto shim. It seemed like when I took the neck off originally that the neck shim, the auto shim, was sticking way out, and I go, that can't be right. I don't like that. It shouldn't have to be. And when I reset the neck, I guessed at where I wanted it, and I think we're going to be okay. The only reason you would have to shim the neck up higher is if all your saddles are slammed all the way down to the body, and that is not the case. Slightly higher. See, all we're doing is changing the string height at this point. You've seen my videos before. You know where we're going with this. I like that at 5. And I like that at 5. So I know I'm not in the video. I'm going to tilt out slightly. I'm just going to see. And I know I'm not tuned up or plugged into an amp. Getting a little buzzing. That could be because it's out of tune. But our string action So I'm going to live with that. I'm going to guess that once this thing settles, I'm going to have to probably lower them down slightly. I'm right at 5. Now, let's see when we tune it up to pitch what that does. We weren't that far off. These are brand new strings. They haven't stretched at all. And I haven't manually stretched them. Come on, G. Let's go, George. I know this is tedious. You've seen a million of my videos. I don't like that, and I know exactly what it is. It needs another, we don't have enough break angle on the A string. And as I said, I've built my own guitars. We have 3 wraps on there, and it's not breaking over the nut as I would like. As long as you pluck it softly, but you get a heavy player like me, you can hear that. But if you pluck it lightly, it's okay. That's that break angle. The D and the G have a string tree, and the E has plenty of break angle. It's always the A string on this type of headstock. If it's one thing that Leo didn't quite get right, because as I said, and I'll bring one of my other guitars that I built, Warmoth body, Warmoth neck, and when I put it all together, it took me days to figure out why the A was buzzing like that, because we're not getting the break angle that we need on the A string. And I actually said, well, screw this. I'm going to redesign Leo Fender's own design. And I put a second string tree right here, which is what I'm going to recommend to my customer. In fact, I may just do it and not tell him, because that'll stop that. And I play hard, you know. So looks like everything is going well. I think we're going to take this into the studio. I may even take it and play it with the band next weekend after it settles. We have good neck relief. We have good string height. We still have adjustment here. The strings I can sight over and they follow the radius of the neck, which is the way it's supposed to do. If you put the same exact adjustment on each one, it will follow the actual radius of the neck as it rolls over. So far, I'm pretty happy with the way that this guitar has responded. It's still got a long way to go. I have a chip out repair here on the neck at the 10th or 11th fret. Somebody goony-goo-gooed where the strap the strap button goes in. It's all whopped out. Somebody had drilled a hole in the lower horn for a strap button that, unless they were playing left-handed or ran the strap underneath the guitar, I don't know why they would do that. This strap button hole seems to be fine. So this one we're going to fill with some hardwood dowel. This one I'm going to have to over drill it, put a hardwood dowel in it, and fill the pocket. There's actually an eighth or a 16th of an inch pocket, and then I'm going to install shallower strap locks on this guitar because it is a heavy guitar and you definitely don't want it to drop. Let's just one more time before I shut down this video, because this thing is going to have to sit for a couple of days. See, after tuning it up to pitch, it has stretched the neck. I'm going to have to check all these adjustments again in a couple of days. Just make sure we're okay at the neck relief. See, the neck relief is still really good. That really can't change unless you, yeah, it's just kissing the feeler gauge. That really can't change unless you put a wrench on there and start grinding on that. String height just changed. So something is trying to adjust or settle. It's just above 5 on that one. I want to lower that. We may need to get the auto shim involved because the E saddle is almost all the way down. We may have to shim up the neck. We're back at 5. But the E saddle is all the way down. And I remember when I was putting the neck back in, there was a lot of paint from when this guitar was built that is sitting down in the neck pocket, and that would explain why the E saddle is all the way down and the rest of them are higher. But we will get there because the auto shim is such an easy thing. 5. See? The G string changed. And it looks like the G string is trying to bottom out a little bit. I don't want to shim it if I don't have to. Yep. The G saddle is all the way down. The E saddle is almost all the way down. We're still at 5, 5, 5. Excuse me. 5, 5. Yeah, they're kind of giving me a little bit of a trial. It could just be the wood settling. Everything is set at 5 now. I'm going to let this guitar set for a couple of days and come back and check adjustments again. But for the most part, I like it. I like it. It's starting to feel like a guitar again. I know that the frets are, I don't think they were ever jumbo frets, but they may have been leveled at some point in their life. We may need to crown them and polish them. But for the most part, the setup is done on this guitar. We're going to come back after it sets for a day or two and recheck it and go from there. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for playing along. This is Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We're working on the G&L L2000 Series E, and it is coming along beautifully. It's going to play like a dream, I promise. We'll talk soon.